Hello, Doc. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday. I know you are thrilled. It is Monday.
I love Mondays. I mean, seriously, I do.
I know you do. I just your favorite day of the week.
Yep. I wake up and I'm just like, can't wait to see what the week brings. And to be honest with you, already, I have had like just hours worth of engagement and it's been so cool. And I really wasn't even expecting a lot of it. So, what about you? I bet you've been gardening already, haven't you?
Yes, I actually have been out. Um, Pictures to follow one of these days. I didn't take any pictures yet,
Yes.
but I was telling you the other day. I let some of my gardens rest, and
Yeah.
with all of this rain, I haven't had enough time to get out and pull weeds because I do everything organically, so I don't spray or any of that. And I've got this little grass weed problem, and they were as tall as I was. So I've been
Oh my
chopping those
God.
babies down.
Wow. What a
So
task that must have been. And then do you burn them or what do you do now?
we throw them in the lawn bags and let the city recycle them or whatever they do with it. Yeah, just get them out of town. A
Yeah.
lot of the weeds have seeds, so I'm trying to get that away from everything.
Ah, weeds have seeds. That's another interesting gardening tip. Weeds have seeds. Ew.
Weeds have seeds, and that's actually going to be something I'm going to post. The difference between a kitchen garden bed, raised bed, and doing it the traditional way. I don't have to fight the weeds in my garden beds, in my raised beds, because it's a smaller space and you can control the soil. So um, it's it's one little advantage of having a garden bed,
You
raised garden
control
bed.
the soil, but I remember that you said you put down that weed barrier
I
thing.
put a weed barrier around it, and I put a weed barrier underneath it. Yeah, so anything that's most of the garden beds that I've built for others, they go on grass. So of course, once you disrupt all of that, there are weed seeds all over the place. The ground is cursed. So says the Bible, but it's true. Yeah, we put a weed barrier for that. And then I also line my boxes, and that's actually more of kind of a, if you want to say waterproofing per se, because
Oh,
then the soil does not touch the box. It's got the weed barrier. Um, there's no grit, not that I know of. I don't think there's any weed seeds in the lumber, but you never know.
yeah, let's hope not. I would imagine those are transferred by birds anyway, for the most part, birds and air and all
True.
that stuff. Yeah.
True. We have, I actually, and people that know about the good old mulberry trees in this area are like weeds, and the birds. I have a couple of mulberries by choice, and the birds, yeah, are spreading those seeds all over the place. So, but yeah, point being, it's easier to clean out my garden box if a weed by chance pops up, compared to letting my gardens be quiet and still for one season, and then all of the weeds seem to find their place into that box. Even though I cover them up, I put mulch out over it to prevent it, and they still pop up. Especially these grass weeds, they almost look like corn.
Oh
I'll
my
have to take a picture. They're huge, and they are rhizomes, so they send shooters out, and they're very difficult to get out of the soil and basically get them out. So yeah.
There is actually so much more to the gardening topic than I ever would have guessed. And knowing you and your videos, and by the way, your YouTube videos, by the way, Doc, are seriously amazing. You give explicit terms and actual hands on showing us how you do, like the garlic one, of course, is my favorite. And every time you do a time to harvest, how to dry it, all of those things, your YouTube channel is rocking it, sister. I really mean that.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, no, I try to give people, some information. It's a quick couple of minutes. And like you, I love garlic, and that's actually my passion. So that's our latest on the YouTube Kitchen Garden Expert.
That is
And there
so
will be
awesome.
more. I try to center it around. It's all about food, and so right now we are heavy duty still into gardening.
The
Um,
other thing I love is your reels on Instagram because now I got to actually see when you pick blackberries, like underneath one of those leaf patch things that you lifted up. That's where all the berries are. And
yeah,
again, for those of us who go to grocery stores for that stuff, I would not have known that there is such a task behind the picking of blackberries.
Yes, yes. We have a bumper crop this year. I have two, if you want to call them bushes, they're probably trees now. And last night when I did that little reel, I picked over 1.5 pounds of
Oh my
blackberries,
gosh.
and they are just starting to ripen. That tells you how many I've got. I've got probably another week or so, at least maybe 3 weeks of blackberries to pick. So I'm super excited. I mean, they are so good for you. The dark berries, are antioxidant, et cetera, et cetera. And we just love them because they're not super sweet. And there's not a lot of seeds in these. And I love it because my bushes are thornless. Because a lot of raspberries and blackberries and those kinds of things have thorns.
Ew.
My only complaint are the mosquitoes because that's where they live. So I'm like parting the ways and they're just like, but that's what I use my 2.5 with the water for. So, and that repels most of them.
So is it because they don't have thorns that the mosquitoes like them?
No, no, it's just a dark, cool place and they seem to
Okay.
hang out there.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then the next question is, you
Yes.
have mentioned on several of your social media platforms that this has been a rough gardening year, not only in your case for the varmints and critters you've had going on, but super tons of rain, super tons of super hot, super tons of deluge again. And now you've got a bumper crop of blackberries and your tomatoes have suffered. What's up with
Yes.
that kind of thing? How does that?
Tomatoes need a lot of hot and dry. And we have not been really, by this time we've had probably a month or a month and a half of 95 plus or 90 plus degrees here in this area, Kansas City area. We haven't had it. So it's been almost, I wouldn't say it's too cold, but all of the rain we've been getting, they're growing tall and kind of straggly with not a lot of, and actually all the critters ate all of my tomatoes to start the season. So I had to start over. So my tomatoes are probably a month behind everybody else, and I think I posted that I picked my one little tomato today and I popped it in my mouth. It was delicious. I grew that. It took me 2.5 months. Yeah.
And I'm so
no.
full now from eating that whole tomato.
Yeah. But no, it's just, well, and that's what gardening is. It's trial and error, and you just got to keep moving forward. I think I even posted, what was the lesson? Don't give up. Keep moving forward. And so I was going to segue. It's good that you brought that up. I was going to segue and into that to ask you a question about when you first started your water business, Queenie. All of us have expectations back then. Can you remember? Did you have an expectation? And if you did, what was it?
Oh my gosh, what an interesting thing to say. And this actually segues again into several of the coaching classes I'm in with Missy Day and Delinda Lane and several other coaches I have in my world. Back in 2008, I anticipated, since I made a deal with God, and you know how much he loves my deals.
Yes, I've heard.
If the water worked, yeah, yeah. If the water worked on, and I had quite a list, that I'm quitting my full-time job and doing the water business only. And that was again in 2008. So needless to say, obviously the water worked on the parameters I gave God. Thus, miracleswithwater.org was born. And so I decided I was just going to sit back in my gorgeous estate and watch people come to my house and order water machines. That was awesome. And so all of a sudden I went, So a few right. And a few of my friends who knew what I was doing wanted to taste the water, try the water, see the machine. How hard is it to hook up? Takes about 3 seconds, by the way. And so that was kind of the beginning of, I think I need to network. And I wonder what that means. So I checked out a few places. Meetup.com was actually one of my first networking opportunity events ever, formal networking. And so Meetup was born. And then from Meetup came Chambers of Commerce. And I thought, what the heck is that? And so my first experience with the Chamber of Commerce was Olathe Chamber of Commerce in Kansas City area, for those of you not local. And that chamber is the largest in the county where I live. Therefore, I attended, and there were about 200 people. And I, of course, figured that had to be a fluke because 200 people are not showing up at any networking event every single week. And so I thought this can't happen again. So I went the next week, yeah, the next week, yeah, the next week, yeah. And so the Olathe Chamber of Commerce, and I told them this even back in the 2008 era, that chamber completely flipped my business, and it did. So not only did I learn how to network, the people that were in the chamber, I would say, where else do you go for networking? They told me, they invited me to other events, and literally organically grew miracleswithwater.org. So I had no idea what I was doing. I anticipated people were going to knock on my door and ask to buy a water machine. And so as soon as my prayer changed to put me in the path of someone who needs me, the floodgates opened, and the rest, my friend, is history.
Well, and part of your history you've talked about, didn't you get, you had a speaking gig through the chamber, and didn't you get an award?
Yeah, yes, I actually got a few of those, which was fun. I sponsored so many people in the Membership Achievement Award section of Olathe Chamber that every year they'd have the award ceremony. And then I got it because you kind of earn it. Like you get so many people to join, and that goes on your membership ticket and all those things. And then one year, which was a super duper surprise to me, I got Volunteer of the Year. So that was super awesome. And because of that, the gentleman who is the vice president of the United States Chamber of Commerce was in the audience. And I got to meet him in person just because I'm a groupie of anything chamber. And so I got to meet him, and I had no idea about the second award. Like I say, the first one, membership achievement, you earn that. But the second one, I was shocked. And so we're up on the stage doing photo ops for the newsletter. And after I get off the stage, he kind of goes like this and he says, you didn't tell me you wrote a book. And back then that was in 2012. And my first book had come out, Networking on Steroids. And so they put that on the screen behind me. So he said, tell me about that. And I said, I love networking, and helping people with tips and tricks and techniques kind of rocks my world. And he said, would you be willing to train the United States Chamber of Commerce executives on networking if we fly you to Madison, Wisconsin? And I said, yeah, exactly. I said, yeah. Say what? And so anyway, that's kind of what started everything, because I love helping people. And talk about seriously networking on steroids. I'm in Madison, Wisconsin at the most gorgeous hotel I've ever been in, literally. And Chamber of Commerce executives from throughout the country are in that room. And you talk about networking. I'm just looking around going, holy serious moly, we had a blast. And so anyway, it's just phenomenal how things work out. What does networking mean? I end up at Olathe Chamber because it's the largest in my county. And the next thing you know, membership achievement, all that stuff. And Raymond Toll's in the audience from US Chamber. And I mean, you can't outgive God. You seriously, to heaven and earth, cannot outgive God. And I have witnessed that a zillion times over. And thus the pandemic, thus the lamenting, thus the shutdown. And I'm just going, I know this is not the stopping point. We ain't done yet, my friends. And so talk about punt and pivot, and just flip it back to you. Look what happened in your life. The punt and pivot piece, you got to do everything virtually, and you can train your naturopath clients online now. Now, seriously, would you have thought even 3 years ago that you could have done that?
No, really. 2 or 3 years ago, I did have a brick and mortar office, but I wasn't there. I was always out in the community.
Yeah.
So it was kind of, it was kind of in the cards, but like you say, punt and pivot. I was able to, shift it, and then just have folks, we Zoom for an hour, and they, and I have a lot of people. Actually had somebody asking me the other day, now, where's your office? And I said, I do not do an office, because it's actually easier for my clients to do a Zoom call.
And my office is my computer screen, and I love that.
Yes. That a lot of people, we do the free 30-minute to see what's going on, and then we set our schedule and off we go. So, but like it's the networking piece is beyond huge. And that doesn't mean that you're, as we always talk about, swooping or barfing your business. It's getting to know people and what they need, and then that's how we can serve them. and also help others because, hey, somebody needs, I don't know, a basket. Well, so and so basket weaves. Let me give you her contact, that kind of thing, instead of, okay, so you're not going to buy my stuff, I'll be done with you. There are so many connections in networking. Queenie, you and I especially are like, oh, you know that person? How do you know that person? We have so many different connections, and we really haven't been together as far as networking or friends. What, it's going to be 2 years coming up
Next month,
next
next
week.
week. Yeah.
So, but it's unbelievable the amount of connections we have out in the community, because I actually worked in a business for over 7 years in Overland Park, and a lot of those people that I came across, already, which
Yes.
is hilarious. And then
Yeah.
some outside of that, Kansas City, that's what we love. We're originally from Chicago, and what we love about Kansas City is everybody knows everybody, and that can be good or bad, but it's a very tight knit. It's not, huge city mentality, and people are nice and giving and service orientated, and that's what we love about Kansas City.
I agree 1,000,000%, because they say 6 degrees of separation. I always figure in Kansas City it's 2 or 3. And then
Yes.
you think of several of our rock stars. And do you know Karen Reyes? And everybody goes, who doesn't know Karen Reyes? And I'm like, right. Yeah. And do you know Delinda Lane? Who doesn't know Delinda Lane?
Right.
It's just, those are the kind of people that as soon as you ask those kind of questions, people go, oh my gosh. And now we're able to add super rock stars to that level. Do you know Grace Strawn? Do you know Michelle Cruz? Do you know Jody Giroux? Do you know Rebecca Garcia? And it just kind of explodes like that
from there. Yes.
Oh my gosh. And so, yes. But it's seriously already a common denominator. And that's the part that is so awesome, because when we get a friend request, let's think about that. You get a connection on LinkedIn, or you get a friend request on Facebook. First thing you do, if you don't know who it is by name, you go in and check the mutuals. And if it's Rockstar mutuals of the people I just mentioned, or certainly you, I always go absolutely. If Doc knows them, I'm in. And so you literally go to the mutual friends before you make that decision and check out their pages and all those things, just for safety and security. And Vicki Cannon, one of our social media rock stars in the Kansas City market, always says, don't friend anybody on social media platforms if you wouldn't let them in your house. And I'm always like, wow, now that's interesting. And because now I'm sitting here thinking, can you imagine the party it would be if all of our social media friends came to our houses and we really got to party in person?
Yeah. Now, which one are you?
Yeah, I know, seriously.
You look familiar.
Wear your Facebook page on your front so we know who you are, because that's how we network with everybody, is now we get to know your profile picture. Oh my gosh. But life has been so fun. And just like you brought up, next week is 2 years. July 26th of 2019, we got to meet when we were doing No Excuses Networking at Fazoli's out in Olathe. And that, seriously, when you walked in, it was like kaboom. And one thing led to another. And not only our common ground nutritionally, as far as wellness journey, but also the people that we knew mutually was also fun. Yes. So 2 years, it seems like it actually has been forever, quite frankly.
It does.
And we have to keep going. Remember when, oh yeah, I didn't know you then. Remember what, oh, I didn't know you then either. Yeah.
Now I'm going to sidetrack a little bit, because we have been consistently bringing up a national day.
Okay.
And so today is National Daiquiri Day.
Oh, well, I'm not, okay.
Yeah, I'm not a real big fan of daiquiris, to be honest. I'm more of a margarita person, but occasionally
that's some sweet stuff going on there, Doc.
Yeah, definitely. Rum is rum is made from sugar cane, so I'm sure there's a little sugar in that. There you go. Let's see. Oh yeah, the daiquiris are $12. Those are expensive.
But see, that's why I was just going to say, when I found this chart and you mentioned about the daiquiri thing. First of all, I don't do that. But second of all, I thought, well, let's see what all these cocktails are that people talk about all the time. And when I looked at this chart, I went, daiquiris are more expensive than, it just doesn't.
Than a martini.
Yeah.
You would think the martini would be up there, but I guess it's martinis, huh?
Well, that's what I mean. And I don't know. Can you scoot your head a little bit? Because I think you've got two pictures. Yeah, I thought so. Oh, it's the same thing.
Yes. Okay. Our daiquiris are waiting for us on the beach.
Wow. And is that a beach drink? Is that the deal? Because I thought it would be
I
like
guess.
mojito.
I don't drink daiquiris. That these look like daiquiris. The original is they pour it over ice and then strain
Oh,
it.
okay.
But
Okay.
there's frozen daiquiris. These don't look frozen, but who knows? But
Yeah.
I'm sure it's like perfect 70 to 75 degrees out there, and you need a cold
Well, plus,
night
if
drink.
it's on the beach, who actually cares what you're drinking? That looks
Yeah,
just fabulous.
basically.
Yeah. But I saw
Basically.
this cocktail chart and I just thought, oh my gosh. Um, I don't
I've
know.
never seen a wide awake. I wonder what that is. I could use that every Monday morning, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Maybe it's loaded with coffee. I don't know. But I saw
Uh,
this chart and I just thought, oh my gosh, I must live in a box because none of these. Now, obviously, the margarita I've heard of, and I've heard of mojito, but isn't that minty?
yeah, I think that's a minty lime. I don't drink
Because that
much
wouldn't do me
stuff.
either. And so, but anyway, when I saw this, I just thought, if it's National Daiquiri Day and I can't do daiquiris, then I think it's time to see what else is out there. And but honestly, isn't it a funny thing how a daiquiri didn't show up on a weekend? So
Yeah,
I thought about
yeah.
that. I thought, well, maybe people drink daiquiris on Mondays. I don't know, but I just thought that was a funny thing. Yeah, and of course, you would find something with the beach.
I was looking purposely for that.
Yeah,
Yes.
you are definitely a water girl, my friend. Wow.
Yes. I actually have the beach on my brain because I'm actually getting ready to go visit our mascot's mama here in the next couple of weeks.
Nice. How fun is that?
Yeah, and it will be
Something tells me there will be fishing on your agenda.
there will be fishing and kayaking and well, they have a pool.
Oh,
So,
there you go.
and we'll probably go to the beach, but um I'm trying to, that's not my best picture, but there's Larry, Dave, and Larry. Dave is the orange cat. Larry is the other dude. Those are the mascots of Doc and Queenie for anybody that's never seen them.
Yeah. How fun is that? And Beverly has boats and things, or you?
Well, actually, her boat is not in, they pulled their boat out. So right now is probably not the best time to fish. At least they're on a freshwater lake.
Oh,
And it's just too hot. It's, they're in the 80s, upper 80s and 90s. So we will be doing the pool and kayaking. We kayaked last year or last time I was there. And I think we've got the kayak bug. So we kayaked down a river last time, and this time we're going to do a waterway and kayak in the ocean. So
oh my gosh, how fun is that?
yeah, yeah. So we'll have fun on that. She actually she had a birthday this past week. She was just telling me today. I was talking to her on the phone.
Uh-huh.
This weekend she's going snorkeling for scallops, and I'm like,
Excuse me. Uh-huh.
I'm not sure if you would like that, Queenie, because they do it in a river and you can't see
Oh,
the bottom because there's all this grass and stuff.
out.
Yeah, I'm not really sure if I'd do it either.
I think I'll stick to having scallops brought to me.
I like the coral reefs that you can see, but
Yeah.
yeah, muddy river with grass and things that hide in the grass. No,
I
probably
got
not.
to see the bottom, my friend. Got to see the bottom. Mm.
So, okay. So to continually push the expectation, that was your expectation when you started your water business. Where are you at now? Is there an
Well,
expectation, or
I
is it basically put someone in the path that needs me?
that is always my prayer because I can't, for me, you can't outgive God. And I have seen
Right.
that a million times over. The people that are in my water family now, if I had predicted the people that would jump on this water and go, oh my gosh, and the people that would go, on this water, not for me, I would have been wrong almost every time because
Yeah.
it's one of those kind of things you need the water. Well, just because you need something, do you do it? And so I look back on that and I just go, if this technology's been around for 47 years, we had our birthday celebration last month actually for Enagic. And if this technology's been around for 47 years, and I didn't actually get to hear about it till 2008, the timing was perfect because the people that are in my path that needed and wanted the water and got the technology piece are the ones I have now. So I can't and don't choose to control that piece. And just
Right.
like every single day is a new day, that's why I can't wait for Monday because my expectation would have been Okay, fine, make a living. I would never have realized the floodgates would open to this degree. And then with the pandemic, you're instantly thinking, oh my gosh, shut down, business goes down, house payment, car payment, life payment, all that stuff. And then you go, yikes, now what do I do? I'm out of business. And as you saw what happened for me, everything exploded because EPA.gov says on the website hypochlorous acid kills COVID. What do you suppose one of the waters is that my machine makes? Hypochlorous acid. So people were finding me on the internet that I couldn't have met because I had not been out in their part of the world yet. And again, the floodgates, you can't outgive God. You seriously see what he does in our lives and shut down awful, the virus, that whole drill. And some people thrived during it, some people stagnated during it, and some people chose to hide under a blanket during it. And so
Right.
every single person did a different thing. And for me, it was punt and pivot. I would never have found my networking groups that I love now if it had not been for the pandemic, because I would have just still been flying all over the city doing Chamber of Commerce gigs because I belong to several usually.
Well, and like both of our businesses, I also do the water and then the naturopathy
Yes.
too. When people are ready for something, and I'm saying both of our business because we've had this conversation when it
Yes.
comes to health and those, they have to be ready.
A
We
million
can't
percent.
force it. You can't force it. It's their decision. And that, you can take that applies to anything, any business that we're in, and people out there, anything that you're selling when they're ready. Um, but yes, the punt and pivot with the pandemic and was big. And then, yeah, it's so, okay. That sounds cool.
And one thing I want to share, Doc, what would you think
Yes.
when we think about the naturopathy, when we think about kitchen garden expert, when we think about certainly miracles with water, all of those things that have come to fruition, if I had not been networking at Fazoli's, if you had not chosen to expand your brick and mortar, you see what I mean? All of
Right.
those things happen for a reason, in my opinion. And for me, I think about how has it been 2 years since we met? Doc and Queenie was born August 3rd of 2020 because we were seeing the people in some of our networking organizations kind of go, oh my gosh, I can't be locked down. I can't this, I can't that. We got to have bingo parties. We got to start Bible trivia. We got to do guest lives to spotlight our friends. What would you think, Doc? What would you think about having an anniversary party on, is that going to be August 2nd for a Monday?
Uh,
And the
I
reason
think
I say that, yeah, it's August 2nd. What
second.
would you think if we did August 2nd and we open up this platform to our friends that have been around or even brand new to Doc and Queenie for this year?
I
I'll,
think that'd be fun. It'd be
okay.
fantastic. It would be fun to, you know, chit chat with everybody,
Okay,
see
then
where they're
let's do
at.
that. Yeah, let's have an anniversary party on August 2nd, 2021, right here on this platform. We'll put the ID and password on the Doc and Queenie group page. And if you have been a member since the beginning, yes, Karen Reyes, I'm pointing at you. And if you're relatively new to Doc and Queenie, yes, Jody Giroux, we're pointing at you. Then how about if we got to have everybody on here? Debbie Miller, Michelle Cruz, certainly Grace Strawn, the people that we have gotten to connect with through the Doc and Queenie family, and some of the new friends. Think of the girls that were part of the guest live. Pam Copeland, PK, was your first person that we got to have on guest live. She jumped in as soon as we said we're going to do a Doc and Queenie guest live. She goes, I'm in. And I think that's so fun. And all of those are on my YouTube channel, by the way, by playlist. So if you ever want to go back to Doc and Queenie Bible Trivia, Doc and Queenie Guest Live, all of those are on by playlist. So you can take a look at the people there. But I think an anniversary party on
I think
August
that would
2nd.
be a blast. That's a good idea, Queenie. Yeah.
Okay, cool. We will do that. And that way, all the people we want to say thank you to will be right here on our screen. And that would be a
Yes.
Brady Bunch blast.
A Brady Bunch blast.
Yeah.
I've never heard that terminology.
Well, everybody talks about all these screens and all this stuff now. And if we meet in person, What does that look like? Now, think about this. I posted this on my LinkedIn page recently. I was at Happy Neighborhood Project Worldwide on Friday. Okay, 1 o'clock Central Time, by the way. So when you get to go in a breakout room, there's 100, 200 people on the call. You never know who's going to show up. This is worldwide, literally. No membership fees, etc. I was in a breakout room with 6 people. One from the US, 2 from India, one of whom is the referral leader most times in invitations. So Brigadier is always like numero uno for getting the most invites to his India group. 2 from the UK and 1 from Mexico. Can you imagine? This group is taking international networking to a platform I could not, just like you were talking about expectation. What are the chances that I would be connected to Brigadier Shashil from India at all? What are the chances I know Rachel in Nigeria at all? And now the UK is one of the gentlemen there is on my YouTube channel now, Simon, and he's incredibly fun. And all of a sudden I said, my YouTube channel, Kathy Weaver KC, he must have clicked on it because all of a sudden here goes, hi, I'm Kathy Weaver. And I thought, oh my gosh, please turn that off. And so he got on my YouTube channel right while we were talking. What are the chances that I would have been in 6 people breakout room, 1 USA, 1 Mexico, 2 India, 2 UK? That would never have happened in my lifetime.
Right. And I, you and I were talking about this the other day. It's a great chance to meet people. It's also a great chance because they give you what, 2 minutes to talk about your business or anything really.
Yes.
So it gives you practice on that, and you just never know who you're going to connect with. You just never know.
You don't indeed. So Doc, I'm going to have to flip this back. When you first went to No Excuses, and you said that was one of your first formal networking events, you had been out in the world, vendor shows and things like that. Did you have expectation?
The gal that invited me talked about this being a really educational type of group, and she loved it. And so I really had no expectation. I was actually a little intimidated when I walked in because, it was a new place and there's all these faces that I don't know. But honestly, yeah, I do believe that day you were teaching on doing bios. And I don't know if you remember any of this, but I jumped in and gave you my little bio off my website that I had just redone. And I was kind of like sweating and scared a little bit because I didn't know you but my expectation was kind of like, well, maybe I'll learn something. And that's how actually I approach everything. Even doing the Happy Neighborhood Project, even us doing this every week, there's always something to learn. There's always something to learn from everybody. And maybe that probably was my expectation. I just remember being a little intimidated walking in there.
Well, but look at what happened though. You did it anyway.
Yeah.
You see, that to me is always the biggie. You did it anyway. And
I'm sure you figured this out. I just jump in on stuff. I got this idea with the kitchen garden expert, and so I'm incorporating that into my other businesses. I just jumped in. That's the kind of person I am. How are you going to know if it's going to work? How are you going to know? That's kind of my philosophy. So, yeah.
To think that your podcast, it's all about food, kitchen garden expert, the garden boxes that you're building, the food that you're harvesting, the garlic that you're drying, how that works in the human body, all of those things combined literally is the naturopathy peace umbrella for me. And every time you have a discussion, training, seminar, whatever you're doing, and I see that this food equals this, and if you put this in the human body, you will get this result, probably, if everything's working correctly. Because if food is our fuel, and you put bad gas in your car, you're going to have bad results efficiency wise. You put bad fuel in your body, you're going to have bad results in disease and illness, most likely. And you see how those things work. You seriously are a fantastic teacher, because for me, you get it down to the level of the people that you're in the room with.
Queenie, I try to keep it simple because it really, when you think about it, it's really not that hard. And my background of, I came out of a chronic illness. That's how I wound up in doing what I do. Um, and I just love serving people. So it's that combination. But I try to keep it simple because life is complicated enough in other areas.
Oh my gosh,
Really.
it's the absolute total truth. I mean, honestly. But
But it's
seriously, I love the fact that you take the podcast, take the reels, take your website, take the
yeah.
naturopathy, and it's all your umbrella, how you put the puzzle pieces together for us. When I'm just like you said about the scallops in the river, that ain't happening. And I can
It,
already guarantee
yeah, if
you,
there wasn't grass in the river and it wasn't yucky. No, it's like you said, it's all about food and it's soul, how we think, our body, what we're putting into our body, and then our spiritual connection. Are you connected to God? All of that works together, and when one is off, the whole system, the whole functioning system, the person is off, you know. And that looks either illness, or it looks illness or disease. I mean, because our bodies are designed, all those three pieces to work perfectly together, provided they get the right ingredients. And like you say, the right puzzle pieces is what I do, is put it together, try to figure it out.
it is phenomenal how you do that. And seriously, for you to have the um, experience, don't you think that totally helped?
It gives me a different, a lot of practitioners out there, and I'm not bashing any of them, but there's a lot out there that are book smart but don't have the experience. And
Oh, okay.
I battled a chronic illness, an autoimmune chronic illness, for 7 years, and it took a lot of effort mentally and changing our lifestyle. And I say our because my entire family came with me. And I still battle a little bit. I'm not perfect. I still battle with coffee. I love my coffee. No, but I seriously still battle. But it took a lot of effort and mindset and connecting to God and all of these little pieces to get better. And it wasn't one day I had this illness and the next day everything was fine. It wasn't a quick fix. It took me 7 years, and it was 7 years of trying different things. And that's what I say to my clients. It's not, what my recipe for how I got better is not your recipe for getting better. So I teach on that, and then I also try to help people prevent getting to an illness, having things spill over into an illness. So I'm kind of preventative, or if you're in a health issue, I try to help the body heal itself for you. Like you say, it's putting the puzzle pieces together.
Soul
Whether
body,
I'm helping people with growing food or whatever with my naturopathy.
soul body spirit is such a perfect message too. And I was going to actually mention, because as usual we have to leave. Our Bible trivia has been so amazing to connect people that we wouldn't have met before to the
Yes.
Doc and Queenie family by way of a deep dive into the Word with a Bible trivia format. You definitely don't have to be a scholar, hello. And I'm just grateful for that one. But the things that we get to learn on Bible trivia has been phenomenal also. Soul, body, spirit. You take the water, you take the food, you take the networking, you take the Bible trivia part, you take the community of Doc and Queenie. It really does come full circle. And so next week we get to celebrate the fact that we met 2 years before. And the week after that, we get to have an anniversary party right here on the screen. And I'll put the ID and password in our group page. And I really do, Doc. I think this has been a non-accidental coming together of the masses, because the community would not have been born if it wasn't for Zoli's, if it wasn't for No Excuses Networking, if it wasn't for Doc and Queenie being born a year ago, and if the pandemic hadn't happened, I know we wouldn't have done it because I would have been still flying around all those chambers.
Yeah, oh gosh, yeah. How many thousands of miles did you put on your car back then? Because you
Way
were
too
saying the
many.
other day, what, 1,000 miles in
13 months.
13 months?
4,000 miles in 13 months.
That's usually a month for me, but
Yeah, I know. That's what I
it
mean.
is.
Yes, because I would go from Parkville to Blue Springs to Independence to
Yeah, you're all
Liberty,
over.
every single chamber you can imagine, all over the Kansas City market. And I never thought anything of it. This is a luncheon. This is an award ceremony. This is something. This is a
Yep.
network training. This was a whatever it is. I didn't even hesitate. Just go, yes, get out there and do it. And then all of a sudden, when I took a picture of my odometer at specific segments that were big, all of a sudden I saw the date on there and went, I have gone 4,000 miles on my car in 13 months. And that's legit. So for my American Family agent listening, please adjust my rates accordingly. But I really
Yeah.
did. I thought, what is the deal? But I will say, if I did mileage on this machine right here,
Oh
I
gosh.
need, holy moly.
But like what we said at the beginning, and I know we have to get off here, but the number of people you've met because you pivoted and jumped into networking online in your second book, Networking on Steroids, PQ. I'm like, what is the name of your second book? Post quarantine, just the fact that you connected to people worldwide. Yeah, you probably have tens of thousands of miles. Because it's funny, once in a while when I talk to you, you're like, yeah, I was in Australia today. And I'm like, oh, can I come with you?
Yeah.
Oh, not literally?
Yeah, not literally. And to get a phone call, an actual on your telephone call from your friend in Australia is like,
I know, it's crazy.
yes,
Crazy.
seriously is crazy. And
But
it really has been so fun. And your expectation question today was perfect because I had instant expectations and I'm an overnight success and it only took 13 years.
that's what I hear. Yeah. So for anyone out there that has just started or you're in the middle of your business per se, you know, you've been doing it for a while, put me in the path of somebody that needs me, God. I mean, that's really the key because he's controlling it. And we just have to keep stepping one step forward. Soul, body, spirit, get it all connected. There, did I do that? That was a good summary.
Yeah. I think you did it perfectly, Doc. And I think it's time for you to take us home.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today at Doc and Queenie Facebook Live at.
Hi, dude.
We have Bible trivia, like we've talked about, on Thursday nights at 7 p.m. Or please join us back here next Monday at. Check out Kathy Weaver on social media. KathyWeaverKC.com is her website, or Laura Christine Doc, Kitchen Garden Expert on social media, or kitchengardenexpert.com. Until next time, have a great and fantastic week. Thank you, Queenie.
Thank you, Doc, and happy National Daiquiri Day to all of you who drink those.
Yeah, let us know if you're a daiquiri and margarita person or you just don't drink, period.
Yeah, seriously. All
Take
right.
care, everybody.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye now.